Did you know that you do not burn most calories at the gym? Did you know that you can literally extend the length of your life by walking more? And did you know that one of the best things you can do for your health as a whole is actually super basic? We can all do it, and it has nothing to do even with nutrition and training and those kind of things. Today we'll talk about NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. In plain English, just moving, daily movement. Anything that's outside of the gym, let's say. Walking, talking, blinking, fidgeting, and all that good stuff. And the reason I want to bring this back is that we are doing a step challenge this month. So 1 week from now, so that will be Monday, September 9th, we will kick off the September challenge. It's our biggest challenge to date. We've been doing it pretty much yearly. I think it was 2021, and then we actually skipped 1 year, and then we did 2023 again, and then now we're bringing it back, of course, and this continues to be a yearly thing, which also means that it's the only step challenge we ever do every single year. So don't miss your chance. Long story short, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll explain a little bit more, but it's such a huge one. Walking, just getting moving. You know, I think we don't do that enough in general. And I think we often, as much as, yes, of course, I mean, we're called Talking Nutrition, right? We're big on nutrition. And I still think that it's probably the biggest factor for most people. Training, huge, right? You got to build that muscle, you got to get moving, but still, I think just moving in general, right, is often overlooked. And like I said, it's one of the most impactful things you can do for your long-term health, and you can literally extend your lifetime, which is crazy. And we'll get into a little bit of research today to back that up as well. Now, a little fun fact, let me see real quick. I have to have a little peek. So we talked about this on episode 8, Talking Nutrition, episode 8, the secret weapon to your fitness goals. Then we brought it back in episode 70, NEAT, the secret weapon to all things health and fitness. And today in 158, so we're, a couple episodes further, we are going to bring it back because, and it's funny too, because I saw a Facebook memory a couple days ago. And I was like, yo, like I've been talking about the same shit like for years now, you know what I mean? I saw a post from 2021 and it was like, hey, the benefits of walking more, and it got into like blood sugar regulation, digestion, and those kind of things, and fat loss. And guys, it's such a huge one. And I'll be bringing it up over and over again. We just had a little mini challenge, by the way, behind the scenes inside of our community, which was awesome. And this was also one of the main things that came up. Like, what can we do to improve our health, our fitness, support any goal? And that's why I wanted to break it down for you today as well. Because you might be surprised that non-exercise activity, right, so daily movement, burns 3 times as many calories as exercise activity. But we'll talk about calories burned and all that good stuff in a bit. But that is already a crazy part, right? We often think we got to do the cardio for fat loss and, we got to burn it off. Like, no, like if we simply move more during the day, you will make a bigger impact when it comes to your metabolic rate, right? Calories burned. But okay. NEAT is also the most adaptive component of your metabolism, which means that, and you often hear about this, right? Your metabolism adapts, whether that's speeding up or slowing down, especially slowing down when dieting, right? The biggest part of that is your NEAT, your daily movement. And that will ebb and flow in relation to your energy balance, so your food intake, right? Compared to how much you burn. Now, if you do want to learn more about that, what I'll do is I will link a blog in the show notes. And then within that blog, there's another link to the Total Daily Energy Expenditure Deep Dive, which is a great one for you to check out. If you want to dive a little deeper into just metabolism in general, today, we're going to just address one component. Now, during the fat loss phase, your body will adapt and you will burn fewer calories literally just by moving less. And you can kind of counter that by watching your step count, but your body will do that regardless. That's going to be in, less blinking even, less fidgeting, like fewer hand gestures when you're talking, right? It's often stuff that you do not notice. You're likely going to feel a little bit more sluggish. I can definitely say that I definitely felt very sluggish towards the end of my last cut, just kind of like slow, You're less likely to get off the couch, and you might even, like I said, blinking and those kind of things, stuff that you wouldn't even realize happens less. Now, on the flip side, because I think metabolic adaptation is often blown up these days, where, people make it to be this big thing and you're doomed. That's also not the case, because your body will burn more calories, right? It'll be more willing to expend energy when you increase your food intake. This is the biggest eye opener for people when we take them through reverse diets, which, by the way, guys, if you're listening and you've never done a reverse diet, I would highly recommend doing that with a coach, because it is a difficult thing in terms of like the mindset stuff that comes with it. You're going to see more weight fluctuations. You might even see that scale go up a bit, but it doesn't mean that it's fat gain, right? Weight gain, fat gain, not the exact same stuff. There's muscle glycogen. There's so much more to that, but that's maybe for another episode. During a reverse diet, you can increase your metabolism again. You can begin to burn more calories. And that's why sometimes you'll see people respond super well during a reverse diet by even sometimes losing weight, because their body becomes more willing to expend energy. But okay, like I said, that's probably a great one for another time. But I wanted to really explain how your body will move more and less depending on the food that you take in. But it's way more than just calories, because increasing need can help you lose fat and keep it off, of course. It also improves insulin sensitivity, lowers blood pressure, improves blood sugar levels. So one of the best things you can do there is actually going on a short walk after a meal. Huge for your blood sugar levels. And it can also lower important health markers like cholesterol and stuff. Going back to the post-meal walks, I think one of the main things, if you're dealing with digestive issues, I would start there, because it can actually alleviate symptoms of conditions like IBS. It can help with bloating. And like I said, with the blood sugar levels, that's a huge one too. I think, especially these days, there's a lot of focus on the medication, right? There's a lot of, hey, which supplement can help me regulate my blood sugar levels, and what can I do? A lot of times, and of course, there's fiber and those kind of things too, but something as basic as going on a walk after a meal might just be that one thing that can help you massively. It's also just a great way to de-stress. We talked about, forest bathing recently, and you'll hear me talk about stress management all the time. But how good do we feel after a walk in nature, right? It's already good to go on a walk. It lowers cortisol. Like, we have research to back that up. It also increases dopamine, serotonin, can put you in that parasympathetic state, right? Rest and digest, where we need to be to heal and repair, build muscle. Good for your hormones and stuff. But it's even better when you go out in nature. And if you want to learn more about that, a recent episode, let me have a quick peek actually to let you know. This was episode 157. There we go. It was actually the last one. This is where I'm currently at, mindset wise. But hey, we're good. We're back in our usual routines. And by the way, I will also be bringing back the the twice a week episodes from here on out. So from Thursday, you'll get that bonus episode again, as you are used to. Yeah, we all go through our ups and downs, and we're back. Now, that being said, if that wasn't enough to get moving more, if you go on a morning walk, you might get some sunlight, you might get some fresh air, but especially that sunlight, right? Getting that daylight in your eyes is going to support melatonin production in the evening, you see? So I could keep listing the benefits here, but it's pretty clear by now, If we can introduce a quick little morning walk, a post-meal walk, or wherever you can fit it in to your schedule, it will benefit you. I just put up a post. I'll read this up. Let me see real quick. Pull this up for you and I'll read it. And it's true, right? We often think we need this very specific routine. We need this specific, hacks or supplements, whatever it is. Here we go. So the most basic yet impactful behavior included in your routine, if you want to lose fat, is walking 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day. The most basic yet impactful behavior to include in your daily routine if you're stressed is walking more, 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day. The most basic yet impactful behavior to include in your daily routine if you struggle with blood sugar issues, you get it, right? The most basic yet impactful behavior for digestion. Consistent bowel movements, also there. Walking more. Staying lean while building muscle, keeping those steps high. And last but not least, the most basic yet impactful behavior to include in your daily routine if you want to lower the risk of all-cause mortality, more about this soon, is walking more, 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day. You see, this is way more than just a marketing hype. And it actually did start in marketing. So before we continue, really quick, right? And you'll hear me talk about this in the intro and even like in the middle of the podcast and towards the end. But I really think the September challenge will be an amazing opportunity for you. It's so much fun. We do this inside of our own app. We have a ton of bonuses for you. We have a mini crash course for you on all things nutrition, training, and mindset. We'll add our ebook. We'll add a protein cheat sheet, recipe bundles. What else do we have? We will be doing a weekly Q&A call with me. So every single week. And this actually goes towards your points, right? Because this is not just like, hey, hit your steps. And, by the way, we keep it fair because some people, they're on their feet at work. Other people, like myself, we're sitting down. So this will not be like who gets the most steps. Like, no, we all get a consistent, right, target. And with that, we keep the play field level, right? The playing field. And we make sure that everyone gets a chance. Like no matter where you're at in your journey, if it's in the very beginning, you get a chance to win. If you're more experienced, you get a chance to win, right? But one of the main things that counts towards your points is actually participating in the Q&As. Now, this is not necessarily like showing up because we have people join from all over the world, from anywhere, from Canada, America to all around Scandinavia, Europe, right? We even had some people from Australia. So it'll be impossible for everyone to join all the time, and that is okay. What I want to do is the following. So when you join us, you still get points for submitting your questions. We then go live, or at least I will go live, and then if some people join, amazing. I like seeing you guys there. But if not, I'll just share the replay. And then you can watch the Q&A afterwards at your own convenience. And you still get that help because that is what this is for. Yes, we're going to get active together. But most importantly, we are going to help you for 3 weeks in a row, right? We're going to help you work towards your goals. And every single Q&A has a different topic. The first of all is going to be all nutrition. Second, all things movement. Third, all things mindset. By doing so, you get a chance to get coaching advice from me, tailored to your needs, right? The stuff that you struggle with, the goals that you have, so that, because let's be honest, right? In 21 days, like you're not going to reach all your goals. Of course not. You can get pretty far, to be honest with you. You can start building some habits, or at least, begin the work for that. But it's such an important period because it allows you to get movement in. It allows you to eat more healthy because we're going to talk about nutrition. It allows you to create more space and work on your mindset, but it builds momentum. It builds momentum that you need to be successful, not just in September, but also October, November, December, and then 2025 already, right? That's how I want you to see this challenge. It's not just 21 days and then you're done. Now, this is the kickoff for that momentum that you need. So join us, right? You can go to the show notes, September Challenge 2024, September 9th through the 29th, and you can win either 3 months of nutrition coaching with me, a 12-week course that we have currently just for our clients only. So a 12-week course on all things self-development, nutrition, training, etc. And then third place is going to be a gift card for your local supplement store, anything fitness related kind of. So let's get into it, right? Make sure to sign up. You have this week to sign up. Afterwards, you're going to be too late. And then that will be your last chance to join a step challenge with us for another year. So again, September 9th through 29th, join us and I'll see you in there. Now, how many steps a day is healthy? Because tracking your steps seems to be one of the most accurate ways to kind of keep track of your NEAT. We talked about NEAT, and that is that daily movement, right? Sure, we could talk about, how accurate is it? And is it really a step and blah, blah, blah. Sure, but here's the thing. Even if you wear a wrist watch or something, or, wearable, like a Fitbit, at least it's going to correlate to you moving around. And even if it's slightly inaccurate, it's at least consistent data that you can use. Even your phone, like currently I just use my phone. It works fine. Is it 100% accurate? No, it doesn't fucking matter. Now, recently I overheard someone talking about how the 10,000 steps, right, per day is just pure marketing, and that's actually false. Now, I will say this. So all the way back in 1965, there was a Japanese step tracker manufacturer called Manpokai, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is Japanese for 10,000 steps. And they came up with that goal. So they had that goal of, hey, we're going to start tracking your steps and we're going to start aiming for 10,000 per day. This was in 1965, guys. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's old already. So in a way, sure, it started with a company, right? In a bit of a marketing fashion. Years later, in 2029, and we all know Fitbit, right? Now, Fitbit, they launched their first wearable, and they made that like a worldwide thing, the 10K steps, and it became a huge hype. And I was with that, right, at the time. And did I fully, right, stick with it? No. But, I remember like early on my journey, right, I remember, steps became like this big thing. Eventually I got to it, but not in the beginning, because I think I underestimated how much it would really do for my health and fitness. So, okay, yes, 10,000 steps did start out in marketing. However, these days we have a lot of research to back it up, which is really cool. So it's actually a very valid goal, setting that 10K steps to support your health, your longevity. And sure, it's the fat loss and those kind of things and all the benefits, the digestion and blood sugar levels. But here's the cool thing, guys. And you'll see me post this graph over and over again. You'll see me post this week because I wanted to talk a little bit more about steps again. But there was a 2020 meta-analysis, which is a study that includes a bunch of different studies, right, with 4,840 participants. So that's significant, right? That's a big group. They found that compared to 4,000 steps per day, taking 8,000 up to 12,000 per day was associated with significantly lower risk of all-cause mortality. So I feel like I have to repeat that, right? That means that just by getting your steps up, you can lower the risk of death from all cause. That sounds super serious and scary, but it's true, right? We have a lot of research to back this up. Again, thousands of subjects in those studies. Now, there is a limit though, because I feel like people make everything a big measuring contest where, the more the better, the more steps the better. And, I got to hit 15 and 17 and 20. And okay, now more and more does not necessarily mean better. If you pull up the study, or at least the graph from the study in my blog, which I'll link, you'll see that anywhere from 0 to 2,000, 4,000, like that risk of all-cause mortality is very high. And then it goes down a lot. And it keeps going down the more steps you take, 6,000, 8,000, and towards like the 10,000 mark, it pretty much flattens out. So between 8 and 12,000 steps, it's pretty flat. And from there, there's no additional benefit, or at least when it comes to, all-cause mortality. More isn't necessarily better, guys. Now, I will say this. I love a high output. If I can get a client to 10K and they stay there, amazing, because now we can get away with more food. That will always be the goal. Also in a fat loss phase. If they want to lose fat, let's crank up that energy output through NEAT, because here's the cool thing, right? If we move more and we go on walks and those kind of things, we do so without the added stress response. Because I'm going to say this too, right? Yes, you should be exercising. Yes, you should absolutely be exercising, building that fitness, building muscle, which becomes more and more difficult as we age. So it's such an investment, right? But when it comes to health, when it comes to calories burned, simply walking more without adding that stress to the body, actually lowering that stress, is such a huge one. So get those steps up to 8, 10,000, maybe even 12 if you're in the fat loss phase. Beyond that, you can keep adding if you want to, if it's doable for you. Just know that it's not necessarily better. If anything, you're going to be able to get away with more food. Personally, I do prefer that with my clients. I will say that. But we typically don't go over 10K. If it's someone who's very active, on their feet, all day, they work at a supermarket, whatever it is, of course, we can get away with it. But if you work a desk job, you're trying to aim for 12, 14, it's very difficult. So how many calories does NEAT burn? I did pull up a study for this one too, and I don't necessarily want to get into the actual numbers because I don't think it's helpful, because then, we already know people tend to over-focus on calories burned. If you do not know by now, because I've been talking about this a lot, but not recently, fitness trackers are not accurate when it comes to calories burned. Even the newer ones, even the Apple Watches, the Garmin's, the expensive ones, none of them are accurate when it comes to calories burned. Heart rate, fine. Resting heart rate variability, so much good stuff. Sleep, right? They're pretty accurate at least. Calories burned, though, does not seem to be accurate. That goes for machines at the gym too, right? Your treadmills and those kind of things. And here's the thing too, guys, because it looks at a formula, weight, height, those kind of things. But it doesn't say anything about your metabolism, or it doesn't know anything about your metabolism. How much lean mass do you have on your body? That's a massive one. If you have more muscle, you'll be burning more calories. If you have less muscle, you're going to be burning fewer calories. If you just get into, let's say, cardio, for example, this is a total side tangent, but still, if you're just getting into cardio, you're going to be burning a lot of calories. However, your body will adapt. It's really good at adapting to whatever you're doing. So that same length, that same workout will over time burn fewer calories as you do it more often. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be burning any calories. Of course you will. But it means that also there, the tracker will not be able to kind of keep that in consideration, or the machine for that matter. So let's make sure we do not focus on calories burned when it comes to your fitness watch. That's why what we do is we just set a goal. Hey, how often are we going to lift weights? Do you want to do some cardio? Okay, 1 or 2 times a week maybe lower intensity. Okay, boom. Now we have that in place. So we have a workout routine. Now we're going to go to your steps and we're going to set that step count. Now, based on your goal, is it maintenance, is it performance, is it muscle gain, is it fat loss? Based on your goal and your average weight over time, so I'm saying like multiple weeks, right? The average, based on that, we can start to tweak your nutrition. So that's how we get around with not knowing how many calories you burn. It's like, okay, what's the goal? Let's work towards that. Let's collect the data we need to then adjust your nutrition based off of how your body responds. Make sense? Back to what I was actually talking about. I just did it. I wanted to bring this up beforehand, but back to what I was talking about, because I do think we underestimate life outside of the gym. How many calories do you actually burn throughout the day based on your occupation? What about different kind of forms of NEAT? So let's have a look at that. So there was a 2018 study on the role of NEAT in human obesity that included some cool graphs I want to show you. So again, you can pull up the blog if you want to, but note that these are based on a BMR, so not TDEE, but a BMR. So that is your basal metabolic rate. On top of that will still be the 15% NEAT, which is what we're talking about today, 10% digestion, and only 5% exercise. So again, right, this is based on a BMR of 1600, but please do not run with these numbers. But just look at the difference between sitting, standing, and walking. So if we look at sitting, the caloric burn, or, it's pretty much non-existent. Or at least you see an increase of energy expenditure above rest. It's barely anything when we're sitting. Now, when we're standing, and fun facts, by the way, gum chewing as well. So those two, even just that little bit already brings up quite a bit. But really talking like maybe, I don't know, let me see real quick, how much would that be? I mean, less than 50, like it'll be like less than 20 let me see real quick. Yeah, less than 20 calories maybe. Now, fidgeting would bring it up all the way to 50, you see? So I'm really just mentioning these factors, not for you to calculate, hey, like if I stand more, if I fidget more, like is this many calories? Like, no, like just keep it in mind though, because these things make a difference. Sitting, pretty much nothing, right? Standing, already more. Chewing gum, already more. Fidgeting, 50 calories more, right? Now, if we then go to walking 1 mile per hour, we're going to bring it up to like 125 or so. 2 miles per hour, just about 175. 3 miles per hour, just about 225. And then stair climbing, same. So you see that these factors will all bring up your daily movement. So you can imagine now too, like, are you working a desk job? Okay, we're not really burning that many calories. Can you maybe get a stand-up desk? That will already make a difference. Not massively, but a difference. Can we squeeze in a little walk somewhere? Can we get those steps up? If we go on a walk, can we maybe get a little bit of higher pace in? And by the way, right, I'm saying a little bit, not that much. Because again, we're trying to keep that heart rate down. We're going to try and stay in that rest and digest. That's the whole point here. Increasing NEAT through walking, right, at a lower intensity for those stress management benefits and the blood sugar and all that good stuff. Now, you can imagine if you are working a construction job, it might just be up to, multiple thousands of calories extra. Strenuous work, like carrying stuff, picking it up, like building shit, even if you work at a shop, a supermarket or something, we're moving around, we're grabbing stuff, we're on our feet. Massive difference. If we're chair bound, like myself personally, right, it's more difficult. So for people like us, like we need to make a point of getting out and getting moving. And again, it may not be very doable for you depending on your schedule, But can we do like a 10-minute walk? Like, can we squeeze in something? Can we, instead of the 30-minute lunch break that we have where we just scroll on our phones, like, can we at least just enjoy that meal and then maybe do a quick walk, like 10 minutes maybe? Is that possible? If not, okay, cool. Like, let's find a different solution. But what can we do to get those daily steps up? Can we take the stairs instead of the escalator? Can we take the, I don't know, can we go to the store by foot? And if we do grab the car, can we park in the back of the parking lot so that at least we force ourselves to get more steps in between the car and the actual shop? You know, these things kind of sound silly, but it really adds up over time. It really does. So does it help with weight loss? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you burn 3 times as many calories through non-exercise activity. 15% is your NEAT, right? Of your metabolic rate, you have 70% BMR, as we just talked about. That's just like staying alive, basic function. 15% is your daily movement, 10% is digestion, and then 5% is exercise. So you can imagine that, hey, if we address NEAT, we can really improve your chances, right? Now, it's not going to be the only thing. It's not going to be the only thing, because you want to make sure that you get into a deficit through nutrition. That is always going to be your number one. You can't just walk yourself into fat loss. It's going to help. I would argue it's a very close second to nutrition. But nutrition will be king. Controlling your calories will be king. And not just calories, right? Food quality. Because if we get enough fiber in, by the way, your protein, right? Massive one too. So that you hold on to lean mass, to stay full, right? You keep that muscle, which is already tissue that's difficult to build, right? But protein is also most satiating. Fiber is very satiating. If we include the fruits and vegetables that you need anyway for health, right, for the micronutrients, you get a bunch of volume in. We manage hunger. Guess what? Now we stick to our nutrition. Now we stick to our calorie deficit. Now, let's say you're at 6,000 steps. And let's say you and I start a fat loss phase together. I will start you with the 6,000 steps. If you're ready to go, if you can show me like, hey, I'm in a good routine with my nutrition. I can stick to my proteins, my calories, etc. My fiber is good. I eat my fruits and veggies. Amazing. If you can show me you can stick to that and you're at 6,000, okay, cool. Let's bring it up. We will not lower your food intake until we hit 10,000 steps. That is one thing I will say. Because here's the thing. If we can get away with more movement and more food, the results will always be better. I don't have current research here to back this up, that claim, because I didn't look into it. I would argue that there's likely plenty of evidence for that, but I currently do not know that. I cannot say that. However, what I can tell you is that I've seen this in my practice with hundreds of people. Anytime steps are around 10,000 compared to, 3 to 6, every single time the results are better. Every single time. Through a reverse diet, which I talked about earlier, keeping steps high, one of the best things you can do to stay lean. Muscle gain phase, do you have to keep adding? No. But if you can stay around 10K, you're going to stay leaner. If you keep your cardio up, you're going to stay leaner, right? So nutrition will be number one so that we control that calories in. You then make sure to get your steps towards that 10K, mark, and just stay around there to control calories burned. And a very important one too is that you need to be clear on what you're doing on a weekly basis in terms of training, just so you can control your variables. It's really not about, your fat burning workouts, whatever it is. Like, no. But if you are clear on paper, hey, this is what I do every week. Weightlifting, cardio, this many times, boom, right? My steps. Now we have something that we can control. Now we have toggles to pull. Okay, do we need to lower your food intake, your calories, I should say? Well, increasing volume, of course. Okay, cool. That's one toggle. Can we bring your steps from 6 to 8, 8 to 10, whatever it is? Okay, cool. Now we can do that. We standardize it so that we can now guide you through that fat loss phase. So again, nutrition is number one, but steps are a very, very close second. Now, a couple pro tips. Just find excuses to move more. Like I said, you park in the back, right? Can you get off the bus one stop earlier and just walk the rest? Instead of waiting at the airport for your flight, because let's be honest, we're usually early, right? Just in case, or at least I am. Instead of sitting on your phone all the fucking time, we all do this, by the way, I'm not judging, like I'm guilty of this, right? Can you at least go on a walk while you wait? I've been on tour with a band like where we drove all day to just get to a festival, and we got to the festival 15 minutes later. We had to get on stage, play right away, right? No even like break to eat or whatever it is. Like just get ready like right away, and still hit my 10K steps afterwards by just making a point of going on a walk. I've done that at airports. I've done it on vacations. Now, you don't always have to push yourself, but if you make it a priority for yourself, you can make it work. Now, if your step count isn't yet where you like it to be, don't worry. Don't stress about the 10K. Like I'm talking about 10,000 steps now, but like if you're at 3, that's okay. Just go to 3,500. Just go to 4,000. Maybe from 4, go to 5,000. But what I do want you to do is look at your average. Think of what is a realistic yet slightly challenging goal, and then aim for that. Make sense? Challenge yourself. Don't make it too easy either. And of course, this might sound a little silly, but if you're short on time, you can walk faster and you can get more steps in a shorter amount of time. This one was a big one for me, but I will say this, right? I don't want you to turn this into like a cardio session. I want you to remember this is supposed to be low intensity. It's supposed to be something that allows you to create some space to think about stuff, to listen to a good audiobook, to maybe do a walking meditation, to lower cortisol, go out in nature, right? Get those benefits with that. Keep that heart rate low. That is the goal. But you can go a little faster. And actually, there was research to point out that the energy expenditure is higher when you walk faster, which makes sense, of course. However, here's the thing. The health benefits that we talked about, so lower risk of all-cause mortality and those kind of things, when it comes to that stuff, there was actually no, or it didn't seem to be an additional benefit to walk faster, you see? So I would argue that if you're short on time, this may be a good method. Just make sure to not overdo it. Don't turn everything into a race. Like it's still mainly to keep stress low on your body, if anything, to lower it. Make sense? So by now, I think you understand why NEAT is so important, why walking is so important, and just being active. We're supposed to move, you know what I mean? You're supposed to move. And if you want to support your fat loss goals, your muscle gain goals, you want to stay lean, you do a reverse diet, you want to support digestion, blood sugar levels, like all that good stuff, literally lower the risk of all-cause mortality, risk of death of all causes, right? You can lower that by simply walking more, by moving more, getting your daily steps to, let's call it like 8 to 10K range. You can do more. That's totally fine. If anything, you'll be able to eat more. And who doesn't like that? But like for the health benefits, 8 to 10K, plenty. If you're at maintenance, even just stick to 8. That's totally fine, And your results will be better for it. Your health will be better for it. And of course, if you would like to, join us next week, September 9th through 29th. 21-day step challenge, the September 2024 challenge. You can win free coaching with me. So 3 months of nutrition coaching, a 12-week course, the Odyssey, a gift card. We're going to do Q&As, one on nutrition, training, and mindset. Usually these are an hour long of coaching, advice from me. You can ask anything that you're struggling with. And again, we can build that momentum. We can do something fun together coming out of summer into autumn, right? Do something fun, not just for the 21 days, but to build that momentum, to help you get that momentum, right? To keep it up into October, November, December, and be successful in 2025. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.